Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Esther, chapter 3, starting at verse 1, going through chapter 4, verse 3. Now here we're introduced to Haman. Haman, we're told, is an Agagite. What does that mean? He is a descendant of King Agag of the Amalekites. And way back in 1 Samuel chapter 15, we heard about how Saul, who was an ancestor of Mordecai's, had gone to war against the Amalekites, won a huge victory over them, and King Agag, while in his custody, was executed by the prophet Samuel. And the reason why they went to war against them is because the Amalekites were decadent, vicious pagans, and the scriptures are clear about that. And so Haman he's a mean and nasty guy, okay? He is honored by King Xerxes because he gets things done through intimidation and violence. Now, King Xerxes elevates him and commands everyone to bow to him, but Mordecai won't have anything about it. He will not bow down to Haman, partly because these two have a blood feud going back centuries with each other. But you think about today, governments are always growing in their power and demanding more and more obedience to the point where they're more important than God. And we're told we are not to bow down to them. And Haman and Mordecai is not going to bow down to Haman. Well, Haman won't have that. And so he decides not only is he going to kill Mordecai, but he's going to kill all the Jews. He's determined to kill them all, and he goes to the king, and he gets the king to buy into this. Now, he doesn't explain his personal motivation of hatred and his own pride and arrogance, right? But he justifies this, that the Jews are a threat to the state of Persia because they are dispersed all over the provinces, and they keep themselves separate. They have customs that are different, and they will not see Xerxes and the government, the state, as supreme over God. And so the king buys into this, and Haman even offers him a bribe of 10,000 talents of silver, which is just a crazy amount of money. And the king says, hey, keep your money. We'll do this on taxpayer money, basically. And so this is state-sponsored, and he affixes his signet ring, which means that this has become the law. This is the law of this government to carry out not just persecution against the Jews, but really their extermination, because they seek to kill and annihilate all of them and to seize their property. Does this sound familiar at all? Like the Third Reich's final solution, like the Holocaust? And one of the things I think we should ask ourselves, are we as Christians, do we live our lives in a way that we could be picked out as having a different way of looking at life and different customs? Or do we just blend in with the rest of the non-believers in our society? Now in chapter 4, Mordecai, when he hears this, we hear that he is weeping and wailing and mourning, but that's not all he's doing. He's wearing sackcloth and ashes, and he is fasting. This isn't just complaining and griping. This is lament. This is prayer. And the whole community joins in that prayer. And so when they think about this overwhelming problem of state-sponsored genocide, their response is to go to God. Even though God is not mentioned by name in the book of Esther, God is a very present character in this book, and there would be no storyline if they were not God's people. And because they are God's people, God is present in this story, and it's clear for us to see that. Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.